Next on Sisterhood of the Second Act.
You may have heard of art therapy for children, but it also shows promise for adults, helping relieve stress, explore emotions, and understand conflicts. We'll learn more from art therapist Leanne Allegas. Stevie Holcomb is a realtor, but it's her love of cats that has brought her international fame. We'll hear about her book, This Is Not My Cat. More from these women on this edition of Sisterhood of the Second Act.
Sisterhood of the Second Act is brought to you by Step out the door with confidence, ready to conquer the day. Whether you are going to the cafe down the street or headed into work, you know you will always look your best in Cabby Styles. Your stylist, Darlene Marshall, will help you pick the styles that make you sparkle. And Cabby has styles for all body types. Call Darlene at 540-330-6819, 540-330-6819, and follow her on Instagram at Dapper Darlin. Looking for your first home or retirement home? Realtor Monica Nicely can help you find it. Whether you're moving in or out of the Roanoke region, call Monica 540-449-2019, 540-449-2019. Alcova Mortgage Loan Officer Jonathan Sweat helps you seal the deal with the loan to suit your needs with great rates and terms. Call Jonathan 540-314-8843, 540-314-8843.
Alcova Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 40508, MLSConsumerAccess.org. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to credit approval.
I'm going to be an oak tree.
I think I'll be a dogwood tree.
My kids say they be looking for a thorny tree for me.
With Evergreen, you can be a tree. Our biodegradable urn combines your ashes, natural soil additives, and a native tree of your choice. Be a tree and grow for tomorrow.
I want to be a tree.
Learn more at evergreenmemorialtrust.com.
Pat Lucas is committed to providing independent financial advice to help women and their families save money during this tax season. Call Pat at 540-798-8104, 540-798-8104. Securities and investment advisory services are offered solely through Equity Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, 4401 Starkey Road, Roanoke, Virginia 24018, 540-989-4600. Now from the Fox Radio Roanoke studio, here's Kathy Heberly.
Welcome to Sisterhood of the Second Act. I'm Kathy Heberly. Art therapy can benefit all ages. Coloring books for adults have been used to relieve stress. When working with an art therapist, people can work on post-traumatic stress, self-perception, and manage chronic health conditions. Leanne Allegas is a board-certified art therapist and a licensed professional counselor. She joins us now to tell us how art therapy can benefit adults. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Tell us, why did you decide to become an art therapist?
Honestly, it was after coaxing from friends. They kept asking me to go out and make some art with them. And I kept saying no.
So it was an evening with friends,
right?
Really?
It was
an experience you went through?
Yeah, and it was something different than I thought I would experience. I always said that I change furniture, I sand them down, I paint them, I paint walls, but I don't paint art. And after that night, I couldn't say that anymore.
Isn't that wonderful? That's all it took. What is the process in becoming an art therapist?
To become an art therapist, if you already have your bachelor's degree, it makes it a lot easier. Then you apply for your master's degree for art therapy. And there's lots of programs out there. There's even some that are online now.
Okay. And you did have a nice background, didn't you? What was your original degree in or experience?
So I went to Roanoke College and I got my bachelor's degree in psychology.
So that sounds nice for therapy to me. It sounds like a very nice plan, way to go about it. Most of us have probably heard of art therapy for children, but how is it used for adults?
So with adults, it's a little more difficult with adults because we've learned some behaviors or some things that we have to unlearn. So with children, they're creative naturally. They just want to create anything. Adults, we have to know that we can
Yes,
Great.
we're more inhibited, to be honest, right? We feel like, oh, if we can't do a good job, I think people would be more interested if they thought it didn't matter how they did it. And so
Right.
I think that sounds really nice. We're talking with art therapist Leanne Allegas about how art therapy can help adults and what are differences between using art therapy for children and for adults.
Well, many of the items that are in the office are similar.
Okay.
It's just the way that we're processing and the way that they're used.
What would be some of the tools that you would use for both children or adults in art therapy?
Colored pencils, markers. You even have some clay. or
Clay. Oh,
paint.
sure. I loved clay when I was a child. Yes. Yes, but you're right. I would be intimidated to start all by myself as an adult. And so it's good for us to know, and for even for caregivers, if they have an elderly family member, probably that they're looking to entertain, right? It's a good option.
Yeah, if they just wanted to get some things out and see if there's any sparks of memories that
At all,
would be
yeah.
enjoyable for them.
That sounds really nice. So what conditions does art therapy help treat? Anything in particular?
Really, the full gamut, anxiety, depression, if you're having an issue with addiction. So there's lots of research that's going on right now with addiction work. Especially
In what way? Like if they're addicted to drugs or something?
someone that's having some concerns, about
Yes.
drug addiction or substance abuse issues in the family, or they can actually work through some things that maybe they're coping, self-medicating with drugs, but they want to help themselves get through it a different way. Sometimes words don't do it, so we need something else to help us through.
That's wonderful. I know I didn't really think about it like that. So can you kind of just walk us through what an art therapy session might look like?
It would look kind of similar to a regular therapy session. You come in, you talk for a little while just to get to know each other, and then you kind of go into the process of, either a meditation.
Okay.
It would start that way for some people, just to kind of help them get relaxed in the space. Sometimes when you come into therapy, you're nervous, and it's natural.
Yes.
It's something new, it's a different space. So just to get you connected to the room, and then we go into creating something, and it's different for each person.
So do you determine that, or do you have things available and let them kind of walk up and choose what they would like to work? How does that work?
That's a really good question, and it's different for each person. So there's things available. Some people naturally want to do art therapy. They hear about it, they want to try it.
Right.
So they might be more adept to picking different media.
Okay.
Whereas other people might be a little more intimidated. So it might be based on our discussion, and then
That makes sense. Yes, you kind of have to evaluate where they make. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. So when should adults seek out art therapy as an avenue of treatment?
So if you're feeling stuck, maybe you're wondering what next steps are.
Yes.
Maybe you've tried therapy and you're not really sure that worked for you, and now you're like, maybe I could try something different. Art therapy is therapy, so there's still some talking involved. But when their words won't fill the space, then the art comes in, and that helps to kind of bring clarity to what's going on for you.
Yeah, it sounds like, especially like even just stress, because I know a lot of us deal with stress, and it seems like a creative outlet for that.
It is, yes, definitely.
That sounds wonderful. We are talking with art therapist Leanne Allegas about how art therapy can help adults. And another question I would like to know is it done through a referral from another doctor or therapist?
Okay, well, it definitely could be a referral. Right now, the state of Virginia is still working on the art therapy license. So that's why I'm also an LPC. I still see people that way as well. And art therapy eventually, we're still waiting. I'm crossing my fingers that it's going to go any day now, that will be another recognized license in the state of Virginia. But right now, you can be referred, or you can actually call in and just check in yourself.
That sounds nice. So you don't have to wait till you see a doctor to get a referral. I think that would make it more comfortable for many people, just to see if it's something that they might be able to use. Is it something that they usually go to you for, or do you do at home with people maybe that are homebound or something?
So I do in person or online,
Okay.
which is another option.
Oh, that's wonderful. So somebody that can't come, perhaps. That sounds really nice. I think there's so many questions that come to mind, but if someone feels art therapy would help them or a loved one, where can they get more information?
So if you just want general information about art therapy, there's a couple websites I think of right away. The Art Therapy Credentialing Board would give you lots of information about different art therapists in the area and their credentials. And then American Art Therapy Association is also a good place to just learn what art therapy is.
Okay.
And then if you want to reach out to someone like myself, I'm at Tinker Creek Creative Counseling, and the phone number is 540-562-0800.
And we'll link that in our show notes as well, in case somebody isn't able to write it down. And then I think another question that came to mind is you had mentioned to me that you are the only board certified art therapist in Virginia. Is that correct?
Just in Roanoke.
Yeah. In Roanoke. And so what does that entail as far as your background and experience? How did you come about getting that?
Okay. So you have to be degreed from a master's program in art therapy. Then after you get your degree, you have to complete 1,000 hours.
Wow. So you've really spent the time with this. Yes.
And then you have to take a 4-hour exam to show that you know the information.
Yes. That sounds really nice. And then when you did your 1,000 hours, was that in like nursing homes, or how did you do that? How did you get that?
I did it in a variety of settings.
Oh,
So
good.
I worked at a local place for addiction treatment, and I also volunteered in a lot of avenues. There was a couple different places like domestic violence and sexual assault that I've helped in, and I've also helped in nursing home situations.
That's fantastic. So just for an example, what do you see in a difference from somebody before they've taken art therapy and after? Can you just share some of the results you've noticed?
I've had some people, of course, cry, not because they're sad, but because they know who they are, and now they see something different than what they used to see. It's so powerful to actually have someone maybe create a mask, and what they show people on the outside doesn't match what's on the inside, but how can we bring the inside out so people can actually know them?
Isn't that wonderful? Because I do think we all try to wear masks sometimes, and that's maybe not a good idea. Thank you so much for being with us today. It has been a real pleasure having you on our show.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure, and we learned so much, and I really want to encourage people to give art therapy a try. It can help probably all of us. We will have Leanne's contact information in our show notes at sisterhoodofthesecond-act.com. There's more Sisterhood of the Second Act ahead. Feline visitors who never leave inspire a new book and readers all over the world. Right after this.
Looking for your first home or retirement home? Realtor Monica Nicely can help you find it. Whether you're moving in or out of the Roanoke region, call Monica 540-449-2019, 540-449-2019. Alcova Mortgage Loan Officer Jonathan Sweat helps you seal the deal with the loan to suit your needs with great rates and terms. Call Jonathan 540-314-8843, 540-314-8843.
Alcova Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 40508, MLSConsumerAccess.org. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to credit approval.
I'm gonna be an oak tree.
I think I'll be a dogwood tree.
My kids say they be looking for a thorny tree from me.
With Evergreen, you can be a tree. Our biodegradable urn combines your ashes, natural soil additives, and a native tree of your choice. Be a tree and grow for tomorrow.
I want to be a tree.
Learn more at evergreenmemorialtrust.com.
Pat Lucas is committed to providing independent financial advice to individuals, families, and small businesses. Contact Pat at 540-798-8104. 540-798-8104. Securities and investment advisory services are offered solely through Equity Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, 4401 Starkey Road, Roanoke, Virginia 24018, 540-989-4600. Once again from the Fox Radio Roanoke studio, here's Kathy Heberly.
Welcome back to Sisterhood of the Second Act. I'm Kathy Heberly. Stevie Holcomb is a realtor with a love for cats. When she started a Facebook group, My House, Not My Cat, she had no idea it would get tens of thousands of followers from all over the world. Stevie joins us today to talk about the book the Facebook group has inspired. So thank you for coming in today, Stevie.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. And you have started a Facebook group that has taken on a life of its own. Tell us a little bit about that.
In 2016, and the only reason I know that I had to look it up, I just started noticing all these funny stories all over the internet about cats being in people's houses that they didn't own. They would wake up in the middle of the night and go into the kitchen, and there'd be a cat sitting on their counter or something. And that's when I learned that, my cats are indoor cats. So this is when I learned that cats just don't care where they are. They'll just wander in if they can. So I had recently been introduced to the Facebook group format, and I wondered if there was one, and there wasn't. So I started My House, Not My Cat.
And that was just an inspiration from having cats of your own?
I have cats of my own, but they're indoors, which is
different.
Funny.
Yes, but actually safe.
Actually safe.
Yes, I agree. I've mostly always had indoor cats. So I guess the next question is, what do followers share in the group?
Most of the time it is... it finally happened to me. They join the group and they don't think it'll ever happen to them, but they'll leave a door open or a window, or they'll have a doggy door, and the neighborhood cat will just wander in and take a nap on their couch.
So it literally happens.
It literally happens.
It's their home, but not their cat.
That's right.
Oh my goodness, I love that. It's so funny. Now, being a realtor, you've probably been in many homes as well. Do you get stories from any of your clients ever?
I actually have a story of my own that happened after the book was published.
Tell us.
I had a listing, and the buyer's agent called me during the inspection and said, "We found the cutest infestation ever. In the chimney was a mother cat and kittens."
Oh my goodness.
And it took us days, but we finally got them out. The owner of the listing was a plumbing company, so we put a sewer scope up through the ceiling to find them. But we pulled out 4 kittens and a mother cat, and they were just beautiful. And all the
dirty,
a little dusty, yes. Flea infested, and we took them to the pound, and they said the animal control, and they said they were full. So I had to bring them home, and my husband wasn't too happy, but I was laughing. Of all the people to happen to, it happened to me.
Yes. That is wonderful. That is such a great story.
They all got rehomed too.
Did they? That's an excellent. Thank you for sharing, because that was a happy ending. It's really good. So when followers join the group and share their own stories, you did mention that sometimes you monitor it a little bit, and just because you have so many thousands of followers, just so that if people want to join your group, what should they expect, or what submissions are you looking for?
Social media can get a little hairy at times.
I think we all know that.
I mean, while we all might be a lot looser in real life, I don't know what other people feel. So I'm always of the opinion that we need to be nice to each other. So I run a very wholesome group. I actually have in one of my rules, no cursing. People can be creative in their cursing, which they have been, but we will actually knock comments out if it's
vulgarity or whatever.
Worded.
Sure.
That's what people.
So you want it to be kind of rated G, or at least
PG.
PG is okay. All
Certainly.
right. Well, that's good. So that if people have good stories that they feel willing to share, they at least understand, the guidelines. Because not everybody reads the rules.
Nobody reads the rules. We've got 10
Let's
rules
be
and they're
honest
long,
here.
but we have them just in case people get a little offhanded. I mean, it's the internet.
Yes.
You can only do so much.
That is true. That's true. So why do you think it has grown to nearly 48,000 followers from all over the world?
I can tell you what my broker told me. My broker in real estate, broker is kind of like a boss, but not like a boss, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
But she joined at the start of the pandemic, and she said it was just the nicest thing to see. It was a big diversion from COVID and being at home. And I mean, of course, we wanted people on Zillow looking up houses, but they were also looking up cats in houses.
Yeah, and I like that because it sounds entertaining, and I think very relatable. I mean, people have strong opinions about cats.
Yeah, they do. I have noticed that. Cat lovers will say they love dogs, and dog lovers get that evil thing away from me. But I can also understand, cats are very cute, but they do look at you like they're plotting your death sometimes.
Yes, and not to say that a dog would never wander into somebody else's house, but I can definitely picture cats doing
Yeah, cats are just much more independent, and there are no leash laws for cats.
That's right. That's good because they wouldn't abide by them anyway. We know that. Come here, kitty. I want to leash you. So,
no, they wouldn't.
So we know that. Tell us about the relationship you have formed through the group. The relationships you have formed through the group.
Well, interestingly enough, when I first started and it went a little too big, I reached out to randomly. Can anybody help me with this group? Do you have some time that can, we weed out people and let people in and everything? And the first person who said pick me was a woman named Janet, and she lived in Hong Kong at the time. She lives in Japan now. But weirdly, she does theater, she knits, she loves cats. She's like my sister. I mean, just like my twin separated from birth. She's now in Tokyo. And a couple years later, we added some more wonderful women from all over they're all women. It's not that, it just happened that way. No, we have men in the group.
No, I meant that applied for the position.
Yes.
That's who you got.
Applied.
Well, I guess responded to your
position.
Yes.
I have Julia in the United Kingdom. She's near London. I have one in New Orleans, one in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and one in Los Angeles that help me with it.
Oh, how wonderful that you're global. Which is probably because I've heard that there's a lot of international components too.
Yes.
Can you share that with us?
We figured out that the contributors to the book came from Canada, America, Brazil, Mexico, Italy. There was one in Germany. I ended up stopped counting. I stopped looking because sometimes it's just hard to figure out really because we didn't have them tell us where they were from. But every country is represented in the group at least.
So do you get some really fun and cute submissions from the pictures?
Oh, absolutely.
That get submitted?
Yes. Absolutely. There are certain countries that cats are everybody's. Turkey and Greece are big. You probably have seen the cats of Greece because they just live outside and they're all happy. Of course, they're in paradise. But everybody feeds them and there are vet bills vet organizations that will take care of them. But our stories come from everywhere.
That's wonderful. We are talking with Stevie Holcomb about her internationally released book, This Is Not My Cat. And also, let's talk real quick about your book. What came first, the book or the Facebook group?
And the group came first.
The group came first.
The group came first.
So did you write the book simply by finding the favorite ones that you liked?
No, I was actually contacted by the publisher, which I understand is unusual.
Yes, very.
To put this book together. And I picked the submissions. I picked the contributors. We edited everything and I proofread everything. We took some of the stories from the group. There are a few original stories as well.
Okay.
And we just, the book came second. And I'm still absolutely amazed that it happened.
I love that story because you're first a realtor, but now you can add author to your list of titles, which is really wonderful. And we're already nearing the end. It's been so much fun. What types of stories in the book, This Is Not My Cat, Feline Friends Who Pick Their Humans? how do you select the entries for the book? How did you?
Well, I didn't want a book full of orange tabby cats, for instance.
Okay.
So I did kind of look for the cutest pictures. The pictures came first.
Okay.
There is a cat in the book named Pickle.
Yes, absolutely. Show us.
This is Pickle. He is always smiling, and I'm not kidding you.
Oh my goodness! Open mouth smiling.
Pickle was a definite. This actually became her cat. He showed up one day, and she kept him.
I had a feeling. That was one question I was going to ask you. Do they ever admit to adopting this strange cat?
All the time. It starts out as what we call NMCs, not my cats.
Yes.
Become MCs.
That's right. And because the cats pick you. It's always
Cats do
like
pick
that.
you.
They pick you. They decide
Yes.
who they want to take care of them. And you should be very honored to be
I am
picked
very-
by
We actually
a cat.
had some adoptions as well, and mother cats
Wonderful.
who have shown up and had kittens, and they say, I'm in Montana, does anybody want a kitten? And
it works, huh?
it works out.
I love that story. So where can you buy the book?
Right now, that I know of, you can buy the book online, Amazon.com, Target.com, BarnesandNoble.com.
Okay.
I understand you'll be able to get it in the store, Barnes & Noble. I'm sure they can order it for you.
Sure.
And I hear that they sell them at Cracker Barrel. Which Cracker Barrels? I don't know.
But that might be another possible. And the final question, what do you hope people take away from the group and the book?
Oh, I mean, cats are marvelous little furry, lovable, weird dorks. I mean, they really
Yes,
are.
They really are.
They make this weird vibrating noise when they're happy, and they come and they snuggle up next to you when they want to feel warm, but without, they probably know that they're making you warm too. And I mean, a lot of people say they're not as friendly as dogs or as loyal as dogs, and I disagree, because when a cat gives you their attention, you've earned that attention.
That's
Dogs
right.
will give you not dissing dogs, I love dogs.
Yes.
Dogs will give you anybody attention, really.
Yes.
And they'll want to be with you all the time. So the independent spirit is, I really hope that some people who are not knowledgeable about cats or think they're strange creatures might get a little more joy out of.
I'm so glad you shared it. I think you are bringing joy just through your pages, especially for people that might not be able to actually own one. So they get to enjoy them.
I have that too.
There you go. So thank you so much for being with us today. It has been such a pleasure to have you.
Thank
and such a
you.
good story, such a warm-hearted story.
Thank you.
And I'm glad for all of your success, and because I think it's well-deserved, because you've helped people band together over a common, very warm and touching subject. So
Thank you so
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And we will have Stevie's contact information in our show notes at sisterhoodofthesecond.act.com. Right after this, we'll be back to wrap up the show.
Kathy's wardrobe provided by Cabby stylist Darlene Marshall. See the styles in our show notes at sisterhoodofthesecond.act.com.
I want to thank Leanne Allegas and Stevie Holcomb for being with us today. From Leanne, we learned the benefit of art therapy is in the process rather than the end result. From Stevie, we learned opportunities can come from unexpected places. I'm Kathy Heberly. Join us again next week for another edition of Sisterhood of the Second Act.